I'm going to give you the quiz tomorrow, but the quiz is only on the first two sections, like what you've already done. That, and then that first thing we did, real easy stuff. So if you have any questions about that, we can suss it out a little bit later, but I want to move on to solving equations because you guys are really good at that. Here's hoping. Close it. You'll still have homework for this because it's math class and I'm evil, right? This should not take us very long. So, I don't know, we may fly right through this.
Amazing.
There are a couple of things that might be a little bit annoying for you. Okay, so I know in the beginning of the year I said I want you guys to learn how to speak math, right? So here's your vocabulary. We're going to start solving equations. I need to ask a favor. I apologize for interrupting myself. What, Mr. Sutherland, what you're doing right now, I would appreciate it if you didn't do that. Because I know you know it. But when I'm talking through stuff, I'm going to need your help. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So what I just did is I told Sutherland, because you've been trained.
Yeah.
You have. You get a paper, do it, if you know it, right?
Yeah.
Just what we do in math class. Oh, if I can finish this, let's just go ahead and do it. But the discussion is the thing.
Yeah, I'm always listening.
With your help, and you are, and I'm not saying you don't. It would be more helpful with lots of conversation. Okay, so what are these expressions that we're given, right? Everybody knows all these for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, right? We've seen them all. Do I need to say them out loud? No? Okay. Of
Some 6 times.
sum, difference, quotient, product. We've heard them all before, right? So, this is where I ask for your help. There's nothing on a calculator that we need right now. The sum of 6 times a number and 25. So we know that we see the sum, right? So we know that there's got to be what?
Addition.
There's got to be some sort of addition. The sum of what? 2 things. 6 times a number and 25. Right? How do we write 6 times a number? You want to use X?
Yeah, it's just the easiest.
X. We get used to X, don't we?
Yeah, X or Y.
N, B, Z, Q, whatever. We need a variable.
I don't think I've ever used this.
U? I think I have. Not very common. U sort of messes us up because when we get to calculus, we have something called U substitution. Now U has a completely different value.
And you only don't use I or L.
Try not to, because we talk about complex numbers, so we try not to use
What
that.
about V?
V, we can use it. We can use L. Depending on what you're doing, you can use any old variable you want. So it won't hurt my feelings if in this section you use any old variable you like. W, any of those letters that don't get any attention. G. But later on, we start to use those variables. Yes.
What is smiley face as a variable?
I'm almost okay with smiley face, emojis. if you can say, well, emoji is a variable, and you can give it a value later on and evaluate. 4 times the sum of a number and 3. Wow, that's cool, right? How would you write that?
4x plus 3.
Not quite.
No, because it's 4 times
The sum, 4 times the sum. Sometimes I say it the quantity of, right? So it's 4 times the quantity.
So X plus 3 in parentheses.
Right. Annoying, right?
Yeah.
Language stinks.
Why do you think yours?
No, I almost cursed.
It's talking about math.
Math language. It's learning a different language. 7 less than 15 times the number. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You got it? Okay. 7 less than 15 times the number. 15 times the number, right? Yeah. Good. Less than. That's the one that bugs us, isn't it? When we were little kids, that's what bugged us. Because it came before the 15x in the wording, in the sentence.
Yeah,
So we always put the 7 first.
yeah.
Because when we were young, we didn't have the full knowledge
So-
of mathematics.
So like the 7 less than, you do
You have to flop it,
like, I knew some
right?
people that
It's
put-
7 less than, right? So we're taking away 7.
They put inequalities there.
Okay. But we're writing expressions now. We're not writing inequalities or equations. Right? This is the expression page. What's the difference? Mr. Vasquez, what's the difference between an expression and an equation? Do you know? Off the top of your head? Okay, so you've written some expressions, right? Right? What can you solve those? Can you solve 6x plus 25? Why not? Why can't you solve?
It's already.
What? Well, it's finished. But if I wanted to solve for x, what would I need? It's so easy. You're going to be so mad at me when I write this.
Equal sign.
That's all you need. You're so mad at me right now. Because you were trying to think of some grand, glorious math idea. This concept that we're going at. So much easier than you're making it, dude. Math is easy. Okay? So I can't solve for x because there's no equal sign. There's no value to for x to evaluate. The difference of 9 times the number and the quotient of 6 and the same number. Wow! So the difference of, which one comes first? 9 times the number. How do we write it? 9x. And the quotient of 6 and that same number.
Oh, 6 over 6.
Yeah. Awful. The sum of 104 times a number. If you don't know this, then there's the door. There's the door. They do it right. Number 6 is very much like number 2, right? Number 6 is like number 2. The product of 3 times the sum. The product of 3 and the sum of 11 plus that number, right?
Yeah,
So
3, parentheses, 11, plus X.
that unknown number. Google Plus, that's actually a number.
So can I pick number 7?
Sure, what's number 7? 4 times the square of a number increased by 5 times that same number?
4x squared plus 5x.
Four times the square of a number increased by 5 times that same number. Wow. Easy? This stuff is easy, isn't it? We've done this before. Not we personally in this room, but you've done this before. Right? Fine. Good. Easy peasy. There's some new language that's not listed there.
Would number 8 be 7 times X plus 23?
23 plus 7.
23 more than the product of 7 and a number.
So 7X plus 23.
Could I write it as 23 plus 7x?
Yes.
Why?
You could write it as 7 times X plus 23. Why not?
As long as you're not quantifying it like that.
So that's just the,
Associated property.
that's just the
Unit of property, there you go. You found it. You found it.
So can I do number 9?
So that's where we're headed, right? How would we write number 9 in English? One person wants to try? Okay. Go for it.
The difference of 3 times a number minus 35 is equal to 79.
The difference of 3 times a number and 35.
Minus 35?
Yeah.
Because it's an and.
Well, then why would you write the difference,
Oh, yeah.
right?
How about that?
So when you say the difference, we do it in order. Okay? We do it in order of what you see. The only time you flip the order is less than.
Good morning, pardon this
Is that all right?
interruption. Cadet Tong, please report to the guidance office. Cadet Tong, report to the guidance office. Thank you.
Is 79. Right?
Did you say is equal to?
Yeah, you can say it's equal to. But you can say is.
It's easier.
It's as clear as crystal if you say is equal to. So I wrote up there times the quantity of to help you out with number 10. Because you can use this, right? But you can also do it the way they have it on here, right? 3 times the sum of a number squared and and 3 times a number cubed plus 2 times a number squared is 4 times that number. I don't think that works out. Okay, so to be a really cool mathematician, Hubert, two times the quantity.
So you think Sutherland could be a math teacher?
Sutherland, don't do it. Quantity of a number cubed plus
So I got the product of 2.
3 times that number squared is equal to 4 times that number. That's a lot of translation. A lot of translation.
So I got the product of 2 and the sum of a number cubed and the same number squared, or 3 times the same number squared is the product of 4 and a number.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. How easy was that? Pretty darn easy, right?
Yes, sir.
You're bored.
We actually,
No. Say it.
we're bored.
It's boring. You're allowed. This is too easy for you guys. Turn it over.
So this is perfect. We don't need anything.
Turn it over.
Sir, this is the back.
So this is for what we're doing all year?
Now we're going to solve equations, right? What are the properties of equality?
Like where you have to multiply it by the opposite integer or add it by.
Okay. So the addition property of equality states if you what? What are you doing? Here, let's use an example. Right? The easiest way is to use that example. You know how to solve equations. We'll use a simple 2-step equation. 3x, I don't know, minus there we go. I think I got that right. I'm pretty sure I got that right. All right, so what do we do first? What do we do to solve? What do we do to solve?
Plus 11.
Where?
So 62.
Where else?
Three. No, nowhere.
And then you're gonna want
Oh, yeah. Okay. Buddy.
Do you remember doing algebraic proofs in geometry class?
Yes,
Yeah, well,
like given,
And then you showed that you used the addition property of equality, right?
yes,
So what does it mean? What does equality mean?
equal, like.
The same, yeah. So the addition property of equality says if you add the same amount to both sides, that equation stays exactly the same. Cool? Same idea with subtraction, same idea with multiplication, same idea with division. Right? So step one, we use the addition property of equality to get here. Right? What's the next step?
divide 3 by
Division. Divide what?
3 by 3. 175.
Divide 3 by 3 to get 1. Divide 27 by 3. Division property of equality. Good enough? Look how easy that is. Now you can solve any equation. And now you know the words that go with it. Copy that down verbatim. Copy that down verbatim. That's exactly how I want to see you solving equations. I don't want to see anything else. That's how we solve equations. It's clean. It shows a process. It shows your thought process as well. Now, do I need you to write addition property of equality and division property of equality? No. If I ask you about it, you can tell me, right? So when I hand you a paper, you stay in the discussion and don't just do the problems, right? Because I'm ready to start examples. Ready for examples? Ready to work through the bottom of the page? Are there any problems that you see at the bottom of the page?
I see 25.
You see 25, yeah. Great.
25 questions that I can answer.
Well, cry me a river. Excellent. Oh, just what I love. All right, let's start with the simple one. Number 1, 3s equals 45. Solve for s. Right? Duh. Would anybody have trouble with this?
You just divide it by 3, right?
Divide what by 3?
Both sides.
You've been trained.
Trained by Captain Bradley.
Beautiful. Whoops. It's important. Then I know you're done. If you put a box around it, I know you're done.
So we need to do just the bottom line.
Here's why. Say it again.
So I normally put circles around my answers.
Great, now you're gonna box them.
But that's like 4 times as much work.
Fail.
Alright, so
So we fail if we put a circle around it instead of a box.
Yeah, if you're trying to do something different because you wanna, sure. I wanna see it clean like that. Sometimes you gotta follow a rule. You should take notes in pencil. I have pencils here for that reason.
Why aren't we allowed to take some pen?
Because if you make a mistake, it looks.
I don't make mistakes.
Oh my God. Okay. Do whatever you want. Let's try this one. This is not on the page. Are you gonna hand that to him? Here's an example that's not on the page. That just made me so happy. X equals 1/2 GT squared. Write that down. Write it. Physics, you know what that is? Yeah. The distance something has traveled is equal to, so this is free fall, right? If I drop something, the distance it travels is 1/2 times the acceleration due to gravity times the amount of time it took to hit the ground squared. Okay? That's constant acceleration. That's the third part of Newton's big three kinematic equations. Say again? 9.8 meters a second. 9.81, but yeah, we use 9.8 because, why add that extra 100th if we don't have to? All right, so I want you to solve, not Slav, solve for t. Solve for t. So, what do I have to do first? What do I have to do first? I'm going to get rid of my 1/2. Let's
So
get rid of the
it's
1/2
dividing, So
first.
you multiply.
So let's multiply by what?
2.
It's being multiplied by 1/2, right? Or being divided by 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So I'm going to rewrite it down here if you guys don't mind. You don't have to because you have space. I didn't. So I'm going to multiply by 2. Okay? I don't like that little dot. Not necessarily. I like parentheses. So 2x equals, right, because that gets rid of that, turns it into 1. It is equal to GT squared. All right, so t, aside from being squared, is being multiplied by g. So what do I do next? Divide both sides by g. Do you need to stand up, Mr. Vasquez? Okay. All right, so far, 2 times the distance divided by the acceleration due to gravity is equal to the time squared right? How do I undo a square? Go ahead.
Let's do the little line.
The line thingy,
Sorry, I forget what it's.
the radical,
Yes, sir.
take the square root. Cancels that. Oh, you just broke my heart.
Sir, I forgot.
So 2 times the height divided by the acceleration due to gravity tells me how long it takes for an object in free fall. Cool? Why do I use that example?
Because it shows you how to do basic.
Because you're not looking for a number value, right? We have multiple variables and we're solving for a different one, right?
It shows you how to multiply, divide, and use radicals.
How many of you hate this idea? Hate having to do something like this?
It's just extra.
Is it extra? There is more work to it, right? There are multiple steps, extra steps. Do you hate the idea of having a lot of variables and even when you're done, you have variables in the solution?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the higher level skill, right? That's why we're in Algebra 2 as opposed to Algebra 1. Can't be babies anymore. Darn it. So I did that so we can approach problems like number 19, number 18, number 16, all the ones at the bottom have multiple variables and you're solving for one or the other. Cool? Cool. Are there any questions on this?
No.
This is not that difficult, is it? Too easy for you?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not.
No, sir. Very difficult. You're punishing us. Please don't give me more work to do. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Break time,
Let's see.
11:50, we're out of here.
Half an hour.
Half an hour, what do you mean half an hour? Oh, the clock's not working.
No, that clock doesn't work.
I thought we had like
Good
an hour.
morning, pardon the interruption. Would Plebe Guerrero report to the guidance office?
I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
Because you did so well and this was nice and easy for you, let's take a break.
Fill my phone.
After I take my little break, I'll jump in and take a look at what's next. But I think what we'll do what if we took our 5-question quiz right now and got it out of the way
And
Like
take a
for
whole break
Friday?
For the rest of the meeting.
instead of Friday?
And take a break for the
I'd
rest
be
of the
fine
meeting.
with that.
Yeah.
Because then we,
Let's do that.
And then you guys get the rest of the period for free because it's only 5 questions.
Yes,
Let's do it.
yes.
And it goes along with the first 2
Let's do it,
sections.
let's
of
do
the
it,
lesson.
let's do
Is that all right?
That's fine.
We good?
Yeah.
And I even say, I don't usually do this. If you have the study guides for sections 1 and 2, you can use those. Because they won't be the exact.
I'm gonna miss
same
the test
question.
anyway on Friday, so I might as well figure it
What
out.
about?
Yeah,
I'm not
let's
gonna be
bang it out now.
Sorry, I love
We're not
you.
doing anything from 1-3
Oh,
on that quiz.
No, it's not homework.
so that's why,
Is that okay?
Wait, we're not supposed to do this?
so that's why.
We will, I promise.
So that's why I helped you stuff.
You said we have the rest of the class free.
But let's- If you don't mind, because it's gotta be unanimous. Yeah.
Right.
Are you willing to take the 5-question quiz on sections 1 and 2? We good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
No thumbs down? We're all good?